Cosmopolitan cocktail, made famous by the TV show Sex and the City. A lot of bartenders might sneer at it, but actually, it's a really good cocktail. Welcome to the Cocktail Spirit from Small Screen Network. I'm your host, Robert Hess. Probably one of the most famous and well-known of all the vodka cocktails has to be the Cosmopolitan. Now, if you talk to a modern quality bartender today, they're usually going to roll their eyes at the Cosmopolitan because it is so popular and people are so much on that bandwagon that they want to make anything but a Cosmopolitan. Funny story, I was talking to a bartender once, and he was at some other bar, and he saw a customer come in the bar and sit down and ask the bartender for a Cosmopolitan. The bartender reaches down, grabs a bottle of light beer, sticks it in front of him, and the customer goes, "Wait a minute, I ordered a Cosmopolitan." The bartender says, "That's the way we make them around here." So bartenders aren't always that much interested in the Cosmopolitan. The Cosmopolitan, sure, it's a trendy drink, sure, it's a popular drink, but that doesn't necessarily make it a bad drink. If you make the Cosmopolitan with quality ingredients in the proper ratio, you can still have a well-balanced cocktail that meets all the criteria that even the best bartender is going to want. Now, the Cosmopolitan is basically a sour-style cocktail in which you have a spirit, a sweetening ingredient, and a souring ingredient. With the Cosmopolitan, you just have two sour ingredients. One is the cranberry juice, and the other is the lime juice. So it's important to make sure you blend those together properly to get a balance that works well in the drink. Now, the origins of the Cosmopolitan have been kind of in question for quite some time. Recently, Cheryl Cook contacted Gary Reagan and let him know about some of the details about where she first made the Cosmopolitan because she thinks she was the originator of it. And so far, the facts seem to point that she probably did do it. This would have been back in 1988, which is when Absolute Citron came onto the market first, because Absolute Citron was the spirit originally used for the Cosmopolitan. She used cranberry juice and Rose's lime juice. We are now not going to use Rose's lime juice. As a matter of fact, the Cosmopolitan really didn't take off until after the Rose's lime juice left the drink. Dale DeGroff is one of the most famous bartenders in New York, and when he was first introduced to the Cosmopolitan uses Rose's lime juice, he looked at the recipe and realized, we need to change this somehow. It really doesn't reflect what I feel a quality cocktail is. And so he changed out the Rose's lime juice and used instead fresh lime juice and a little bit more Cointreau, whereas the original had Rose's lime juice, a little bit of triple sec to it. So we start off with a Citrus Vodka. You can use a regular vodka if you want to. The Citrus Vodka is just going to add a little bit of extra character and depth to the drink. We're going to do 1.5 ounces of vodka. We're then going to take and add 1 ounce of cranberry juice. Now, some bartenders I talk to start getting all very specific and trying to find real cranberry juice, because usually what you find in the stores is what they call a cranberry juice cocktail, which includes cranberry juice as well as raspberry juice and other berry juice and stuff like that, trying to make something that actually tastes drinkable like it is, because real straight cranberry juice is going to be fairly sour unless you add a lot of sugar to it. Myself, I feel that a cranberry juice cocktail is the right ingredient for this drink from the get-go, just because that's what it was originally spec'd with. I'm sure that Cheryl Cook wasn't actually going out and getting real, true, pure cranberry juice to make this with. If you want to take the energy to actually try this out, you'll have to modify some of the other ingredients in order to make sure this is a balanced drink and doesn't get too tart. We then add 1/2 ounce of Cointreau. And Cointreau, as I said, is a sweet orange flavored liqueur. So this is adding both the sweetness that a simple syrup might add to it, as well as a bit of orange flavor. We're then going to take and add some fresh lime juice. First, get rid of the lemon. Clean it out. Then we add some fresh lime juice, freshly squeezed. Quarter ounce of that, carefully measured. Now the ice. Strain it into our glass. And add a wedge of lime. Now, different cranberry juices have different levels of sourness to it. And so if you have a drink that you think is turning too sour, one of the things you can do is add some simple syrup to the drink in order to bring it back to balance again. And again, we're adding a lime wedge to the drink so that if the customer wants to make this drink a little bit more sour, he can take and squeeze the lime in as well. And there we have a Cosmopolitan.